Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of upgrading the iOS on the Switch, and today we'll get more into the meat and we'll be finishing the upgrade and doing the iOS. Thanks for sticking in there on it. If you didn't catch the other 2 videos, just go back. Like I said, it's a 3-part series, so I have part 1, part 2, part 3 written on it. And anyway, we will get started as soon as we roll the intro. Come with me as we upgrade the iOS on the Cisco 9300. And of course, no video would be complete without starting with the basics. Coffee. Alright, so just for grins and giggles, let's go ahead and install it. I replaced, that one was already on 17.3.3, which is what I really want to keep it on, but let's go with that newer version, which I do have on the thumb drive. I kind of replaced the name here with a different version I'll put on there. One of the good things about installing it on Notepad is you can have it for when you're doing multiple switches and stuff. So let's see. First, what I would do, I did have to unplug my putty thing to do that. So, you click serial. I think this was COM 3 when we looked at it. Hopefully it's still that. Yeah. So see, it's in this switch mode here, so we're going to go enable. That puts it right there is where we need to be at, just privileged user mode. So all we would have to do, I plugged the thumb drive into that port that I showed you earlier. Now that I've written it out here, I can just copy that. I can go right here, and to copy something onto the switch, you just right click in here and right click. See how it put the whole command out there, and I'm going to hit enter, and you can see it's running through all the stuff it's going to do. Started install one shot, showing that it started doing its thing. And I'll let you kind of watch the process. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger. We don't really need this up here anymore. It says activate. It shows the command you put in, and it says it's adding package. Remember, that was install add file. If you look at this first thing, it says copying USB flash .bin. So that's the install part. Install switch 1. It started initial file sync. It tells you right here it finished copying that file to the selected switches. The selected switches are, of course, if you've got a whole stack, you always want to put that thumb drive in the master switch, which I'll show you that. To do that, you just do that show ver, and there'll be a little asterisk by the one that's a master. The reason you always want to look at that is sometimes through the process of the day, one switch for one reason or another reboots, and then the second one becomes master. It's always good to do that on the master switch. So it said it finished copying the switch, right? That's the install. Now it's starting that add file. We did the command install add file. So now it's adding that file on all the different switches. It did the selected switch. Now it's taking it from that. At this point, if you wanted to, some people just get superstitious with it and keep the thumb drive in there through the whole process. After it's copied it, and it goes into this second thing, technically you can pull that USB out. So if you're trying to keep moving, you can unplug and plug into the next switch, because once it's done this, the rest of what it's doing, it's pulling it from that first switch that it copied it on. After you're into this add file on it, you can unplug your thumb drive from the switch you're working on, and this'll keep working. Anyway, see, starting add, performing add packages on switch 2. So if you follow the logs in here, it'll tell you what it's doing. Image was added, install, add file, activate, commit, and now it's doing the activate. So anyway, as you can see right here, it's still doing the activate commit. I don't know how much of that you heard. I know my video cut off recording on my screen share. It said image added, install, add file, activate, commit, activating the package. Now, if you look, the following packages should be activated. So it tells you it's putting all the packages for that new thing. And it said this may require a reload of the system. Do you want to proceed? Doing it this way, you can tell somebody, let's say they want notification, you're in a 24/7 setting and they want to be told when the reboot part's coming up. Doing it this way with a thumb drive in a production environment, now you could tell them, hey, I'm about to hit yes, you guys save your word, do whatever, because it's going to be coming up. And that way, the first part of it, it's not going to reboot and that cause a downtime. Once you hit yes, this part is going to create a reboot after it does it. It's going to go through an activation process, activating them, and then it's going to reload, which means it's going to reboot the switch. So now I also do these, our system, we have DNA on it, so we can do these remotely through DNA. With that one, you don't have any control. Once you start that process, it's going to do it when it does it. So you just have to get a downtime. But on that one, you can do multiple switches. You can remote and kick a lot of them off at the same time. So if somebody has multiple switches, you can rip the Band-Aid off and have all their downtimes happening about the same time and coming up. So, if you have an environment, though, where, different sections want to know when that reboot's coming up, then you can definitely do it this way. After it does this, and I'll probably pause the video and come back because sometimes it'll set on this for 5-10 minutes, take a little while to do it. There you go. Bam! So it added them all. Finished activate on switch 2. Checking status of activate. Activate passed. Finished activate. Now you'll see after it does all the activate, it's performing a commit. The bootloader on it is upgrading right now, so it says do not power cycle the switch or anything. So I guess it's during the commit process that it does it. I've been doing a lot of these lately on DNA, so it looks a little different. It looks like it's doing it more during the activate process. So there it goes, erasing different blocks, writing data. And it'll go through this whole thing where it goes 0%, 10%, 20%, 50%. And sometimes it takes a while when you're doing it on the whole stack. Keep in mind, I only have one switch hooked up, so it's running those. It's verifying all the data. I was just going to show you this while it's doing it. It does this for a while, it goes through all the way up through 100%, and then it does this is the front end microcode doing it, and then there's a back end, so it'll do this for a while. I'm not going to make you watch this, but I wanted to show you. All right, so you can see it's up to 90%. See how everything's coming, so as soon as this thing gets the dots to the line and gets up here, it'll hit 100%. You can see with the next, and this is front end microcode programming it. Now it's programming the device. It'll do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It'll go through its thing. I don't know if you can hear the fans doing. Now it's reload the system, so it's doing a reboot on it. So now it's when they would start going through their downtime and coming up. And you can see it says power cycling the switch for firmware upgrade to be in effect. It's initializing the hardware. So anyway, it's starting to come back up now. So anyway, as you can see now, it's done the reboot. Everything's coming back up. Right now you're in that user exec mode. So you want to go enable, which puts you in that exec privilege mode. Show, install, summary. Now you can tell that's what you want to see. See that C? If you look at these, if it shows you, it's activated and uncommitted. So you do the command install commit and do it. But what you want to see is image C for activated and committed, and you see that version that you want to be on. That means it's doing it. Now, if you do a show mod, which is short for show module, that'll tell you, you know, if you have a whole stack in there and you're doing it in a production, it'll show all the switches, show that they're all on 17.9.5 and what's going on. So you can, another thing you can do, now if you do a DIR, which shows your flash, see 17.9.5 right there, but oh, there's also 17.3.3. This is actually the active one, but you know, it's always good to get rid of this one in case otherwise you have to do that before your next one. So it's always good to kind of clean them up. So what you would do on this, the command is install, remove, inactive. See, it tells you the ones it's going to do, and it says, do you want to remove the above files? See how it's getting rid of all that? These files will be deleted. So you want to say yes. It's telling you it's going to remove all these, including the SPA.bin of the other one, which is what it was. That's a file that it was putting in while it was activating and doing its process. You don't really need that after it's in there. So see right here, it says completed install remove. So now if I do a DIR, you see the 17.9.5's there, but the 17.3.3 isn't there anymore. So now you have this file in there, the switch is activated. You know, it's always good anytime you do a copy run start, which copies the running config to the starting config. Another shortcut version of that is to just do a write mem, and it does the same thing. If you're studying for your CCNA or something, it's good to type out what the things are. If you've already done your CCNA and working on the other ones, you can do write mem. I like the show mod because it gets rid of all the other crap you don't care about. But if you do a show version, you can see right here it's on software version 17.9.5, and this will show a list of the switches. If there were multiple switches in this stack, it would show. Right now it's showing this one as primary because that's the only one I've got in there. It's showing it's on 17.9.5. So anyway, just wanted to go over all that with you. So anyway, that particular process I was showing you when we talk about having to upgrade the iOS on switches, that's the process. I was doing it on a single switch. The only it's the same process if you're doing it on a stack of switches in a production environment. The only difference is you'll see more switches. On mine, when it was showing what switch, you were only seeing one switch. If you're doing it on a stack of switches, you're going to see multiple switches in there. The commands are the same. The process is the same. Sometimes the process takes a little bit longer on a stack because you're doing multiple switches on it. Hey guys, we made it through the upgrading the iOS. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to take a second, click on the like, subscribe, leave me any comments, share with your friends, and be sure to visit the site and check out some of the other playlists that are there. Also, you know, if you click on the bottom, you can watch other videos that are available on there. And we thank you guys, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next video.